This is Tangaroa's engine room right now. Over the last 2 days, we've pulled out a lot of parts, disconnected the engines, and rewired things so we can still live aboard. It's been a solid couple of days of work, and once you get to this point, there's no going back. So let's show you what came out.
This hybrid conversion is starting with ripping everything out of the boat, and I mean everything, and we just don't have places to put it. So our first thing that we did was we got a container. They did not sponsor us, but it's good to have a container, and we'll get it organized, and we're emptying everything off of this boat. And you know what's good about that? Blaine might be able to find some tools that he has no clue where they are. So fingers crossed he finds that stuff. But we're definitely going to have this nice and organized as we tear everything out. I'm laughing. I thought we were getting a bigger container, but this one's going to be perfect for us. And I'm at the top of the boat here, and I'm telling the driver, it's okay, baby. It's not about the size. It's how you use it. I think it might be a bit too early in the morning, but the driver laughed.
That's going to be perfect.
This is going to make life a lot easier when we have some place to put things, because that was the problem when we did the last repower with the Cummins, is where to put things. And we ended up just piling things under the boat and on the bow. Anyways, the gong show, we couldn't move around places, so having a container was probably my smartest idea. And yes, I'm taking credit for it. And now that we had some place to put everything, it was time to start taking things apart.
Guess there's a little bit of water in there. Fortunately, that would take a lot of water to get back up into the generator, because that would have to go all the way up this, fill up this muffler, all the way up into this muffler, fill up that muffler, then across. So yeah, fortunately that never happened, but not super happy to see a little bit of water in there anyway. Don't care about saving this exhaust because it's not going to be going back on again. So what I'm doing currently is setting it up so that I have kind of temporary power in the boat, so I can remove all the other stuff. I've got to get rid of the existing power feeds and redo them, like I said, temporarily, so we can keep things up and running, because we are living on board during all of this. So yeah, I'm just installing a little temporary power supply to power the 12-volt stuff. It's not much. It's like toilets, heater, and some lights, some little LED lights, so it's not much. And this is a 50 amp DC-DC, and it does have a power supply mode. So I'm gonna throw that in place for now. That should keep us going until we can get the new DC system up and running. I'm gonna remove the old DC-DC converter. Technically, this wasn't a converter, this was just a charger. Same thing, but not quite. I can get rid of all these big heavy cables. You want to check and see where that DC-DC converter is running though for amperage output. Make sure it's happy. I think the heater only draws about 6 amps, so we should be fine there. But I'm going to get rid of that too. I've set the output voltage to 13. Input voltage I've maximized at 50 volts, or 50, man, I'm having a hard time with this. Input voltage is 24, output voltage is 13. I've maximized the input voltage at 23 amps and the output at 50. The 23 will naturally already limit the output voltage, or output amperage. So, like I said, this is just a temporary and this is a power limited device, meaning it's fused at 50 or 23 amps at the input side. So that means the maximum it could ever output would be 46 amps on the output. So fusing on the output side is not critical, and not only that, we're not using this permanently. This is just boatyard. But it is current protected. Okay. Now everything will start to power back up again, which the heater should cycle. Everything upstairs should go. There goes the heater. We've got DC volts showing at 13, so we're good. What I'm removing now are these heavy DC cables on the 12-volt side, as soon as I find my driver, because I don't need those anymore. Well, I do need them, just not here. This will be a completely different configuration and completely different areas. I'll have to mount these in a much nicer spot so they're pretty and I don't have stupid cables running everywhere, which was always the plan. Just another one of those haven't got to it jobs. There's been plenty of those, believe me. One more. This boat is a definition of haven't got to it yet. People who have watched this channel for a while, you realize this. You've learned to give me that though, because I suppose I'm super entertaining on everything else, right? And all this stuff, like cables like this, these are all cables that were already on the boat that I repurposed, at least quite a few of them. The only new cabling was on the inverters, on the battery bank, stuff like that. A lot of the stuff I was able to get away with just reusing what I already had, which saves a lot of money. Because I don't know if any of you have ever had to buy 4-aught cable, especially the marine stuff. It is not cheap. This stuff is stupid expensive. Yeah, so if you can avoid buying it in any way, I highly recommend it. And so far, I've been able to do that for a lot of it. Okay, that guy's disconnected. What I'm trying to do now is just get rid of this whole generator frame, which getting pretty close to that point at this point. Can already start getting rid of the upper brace here. Now I'm going to try to reuse as much of this as I can. Obviously that would make for a really good bracket for a tabletop. Which might be where it'll end up. I don't know. I do have that really nice stainless tabletop there. I've also got another stainless steel tabletop that's got some really nice brakes in it, so it kind of holds fluids. Just got to figure out how I'm going to make that work and which one I'm going to ultimately end up using. Yeah, there we go. Now I'll start taking apart the rest of this stuff. Now, if I remember correctly, I had a hard time getting this thing through the door. There we go. Much more manageable. Oh no, that's falling through. Really careful here. Don't want to ding up the new wood. Okay. So what we've got to do is basically get everything out of here. I've already said that multiple times, but we need to figure out a game plan of how that's going to happen.
This is a massive job.
It is. So the main problem is we're living on board. So I can't disrupt, well, I can only disrupt our lives minimally. So that means I've got to make sure that heaters stay functional, and I've got to make sure that we have at least some minimal electricity that stays functional. Some 12 volt for lights, the heater runs off of that as well. And then for voltages, I got to make sure our stovetops, our refrigerators still all function, as well as the odd outlet. So that's kind of where I have to figure out, and that is in the front of the engine room. I'm not quite as worried about that currently, because there's a lot of other stuff I got to get out of the way that can give us access to these walls. So we got to get these tanks out of here. We got to get all the exhausts torn apart on the engines, so we can access all of that insulation on the walls, because that's all got to come out.
Those engines have to be disconnected.
Yep, that's pretty minimal though. There's not a lot of connections on those. Nope.
We have to build
the gantry. Yep. Most of it's already been disconnected. I just have a couple of hoses, like 4 hoses, 2 water, 2 fuel.
Pull the washer and dryer out when we get this done.
Best
idea?
We can't, because they're too big to get out unless we crane them out when we crane out everything else.
That's what I was thinking.
And then, I mean, that would probably be the best plan.
Would you remove the washer and dryer during this? I think I would. We did bring a tent that we can set up.
That'll give us the ability to sit down and template everything out to make sure that it's going to end up where we want it to be.
Can we wash and dry?
And it's got room.
Just put them right down onto our bow?
Yeah, we just, wherever we put them, we got to make sure they're waterproof, because quite frankly, we're in British Columbia and Vancouver and it rains. So that's the only other issue.
Okay.
So yeah, like I said, just removing stuff and making sure that we're not stranding ourselves out of power or anything like that.
Okay, so goal today?
So goal for today, I've already started a lot of it. I've gotten all the framing work off from around the generator. Finish up that guy. The generator is all completely disconnected from most everything. Just with the crane, right? It is, yeah. I got to wait till Rocky comes by to pick that up. I've got to get the water maker motor and pump disconnected and out of there, to clear that area. The water filter's out of there. I'm going to leave the water maker stuff on this wall because it's kind of out of the way for now, but we will have to address that at some point as well.
He's going to want this wall redone.
Probably. Just make it a little bit cleaner anyway.
Disconnect the diesel tanks?
Disconnect the diesel tanks, drain them. That one's already mostly empty, and I've only been keeping enough in there to run the heaters. This one's almost full. I've got to drain it all the way down. Then I can shift it out of the way and start removing bracing and things like that. But the biggest thing is just going to be getting the engines and the mufflers all disconnected, getting the exhaust off, getting the shafts disconnected. Yeah, and prep for Rocky to come by and pull them out.
Do we need to go to an Airbnb or something?
No, I think I can make this happen. I think Brian was talking about coming by and helping me get a temp panel set up as well outside of the engine room, so we can push some of this stuff through into the front area and just temporarily connect it to get just what we need working.
What do you mean a temp panel?
A temporary electrical panel. Because if we can get all the temporary stuff, which there won't be much, it's probably 10 circuits. If we can get them shifted forward into the front settee area here, then I can go to town and get all this crap ripped back, get all the wires pulled back, because all that's going to be stripped back, laid out in cable trays, neat and tidy, zap strapped together, and then that entire panel is going to get rebuilt with den rail.
Okay. My worry is about heat.
Heat's fairly easy. That's
And hot water.
12 volt. That'll be a 110 volt circuit. That being said, that heater is going to have to get out of the way. Fortunately, we have showers available here, so hot water is not critical. Because the only thing that we're doing with hot water is washing dishes.
Well,
So
let's just put on electric heaters then.
yeah, so I can pretty much remove that entire heater. However, that's going to disable our bedroom heating. So
It's okay.
that'll
It's not
be.
too loud anyways.
I'm sure Izzy will disagree with you on that being
No, but
okay.
we'll give her electric heater.
We can just hook up a couple of electric heaters. That'll be just fine. Her room's small, so it doesn't take a lot of heat to keep it going. But yeah.
We'll get her one of those infrared heaters.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's the same one that I've got in my bedroom next to the bed. So
Okay.
Anyway, that's it. So I've just carrying on. It'll be ready. It'll be ready.
One of the first things we took off the boat was this dye bond. We've been moving it around for 5 years with very good intentions of using it for ceilings. And yes, the wheelhouse too. We've planned it all. Turns out, right now it's just another thing that needs to get off the boat.
So we're trying to clear some space on the boat. What we've got is, this is kind of a staging area. We've got a 10-foot container behind the boat back there. So we bring everything up from the engine room or the forepeak or wherever. It goes to the main upper aft deck area here. And then once stuff is collected, we shift it down to the container. So that's pretty much what we're doing for probably most of the day today. It's just getting stuff out of the way and making room to work. Okay, here is another benefit of hybrid propulsion, especially in the serial hybrid that we're working with. You can see how much soot buildup there is there. And basically that's from running our engines at very low loads. They do not combust super efficiently, so you get a lot of soot production, and that builds up in the pipes. And there is plenty in there. So with a smaller generator, running at peak power and peak load, it gets hot enough to burn all of that off. So yeah, that is yet another benefit of what we are going with. Bombs away! So right now I'm getting all the connections loose for the main engines. Currently all the hoses, the seawater hoses, so that's the cooler for the transmissions there. I just took loose the hose off the bottom. So now basically we're disconnected from the boat on that side. Still got some exhaust to get loose, some charge piping to take off. But yeah, that's one thing at a time. I should probably just cut that. Yeah. Where did my little wrench there go? Thanks to my lovely assistant. Now, some of you might ask why I'm not using an impact for this or some faster method. What I have found is on some of these clamps that are stainless steel, if you go too fast, they seize up, which then it really sucks and becomes a pain in the ass. So I usually go wrench with these just to keep that from happening. There we go. that's a bigger one. I don't think that's gonna, no, that's bigger. Oh.
Spent so much time building this exhaust.
Oh, this is definitely
A bit painful.
painful. Yeah, that would be the word. And so much of this too, like there were custom fabricated parts for so many things. So much time into making this happen. Sucks, I tell you. Sucks.
Are you saving some of these sensors? Or?
That, yes. Both of those. Those are wideband oxygen sensors for mixture monitoring.
Okay, I'll let you keep at it.
Got to get all the coolant out of the engines, get these reservoirs out of the way, pull these hoses off so I shrink it down. I'll probably end up taking the raw water pumps off too, just to take the package down to as small a size as possible so it's easier to fit through the top of the boat. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know about you guys, but I gotta go to the washroom now. What I'm doing now is getting the water maker partially pulled apart. I do have to get the motor out of there. Not sure if I'm gonna redo this whole wall or not. I'm actually kind of happy with the way that it's laid out, but it might have to be a little prettier. But at the very least, I need to get the pump out of the way, get all the filters out of the way, so we can work with that space. So we'll see. I am not sad to see this piece of shit go.
What is it?
This is the autopilot drive motor. So many of you will notice that our steering wheel turns back and forth when we drive. That's because it's a chain and shaft steering, so there's no way to disengage the main steering wheel from the autopilot when it's engaged. Short of clutches, which I don't really want to have a clutch in my steering. Anyway, yes, this guy is getting gone and we are shifting to hydraulic steering. And this has always been an issue. This thing is, I'm fairly certain, way undersized for what this boat would have needed. And it has never been awesome. Quite the opposite.
Fans are coming down.
Yeah, gotta get this fan down. They are.
Because this is like, how much blood and like hair have you left on there?
There's been a couple of incidences.
Okay, so what are we doing?
You just need to release the ratchet strap. It's not a ratchet strap, it's one of the pinch straps. When I take the load off.
Okay, tell me when.
When?
Go. It's already off.
Okay.
The whole thing. Yeah, get out of Blaine's way. And then my husband.
Yeah, I'm not going to take this out of the engine room because I'm going to ding everything on my way by.
Okay. Put her down.
Okay.
Woohoo! Another thing off the engine room.
One down.
Hey, talk me through this. What are you doing?
This one might be a little bit more challenging because it does have a little bit of tape at the top that's going to have to tear away. But same thing.
Okay.
Just
You're gonna lift
the latches up here.
Okay.
And I got to get this bolt off of here too. There we go.
Hi.
Hi, what are you doing? Just
I was gonna unhook that one.
No, it's
Nope,
not.
go.
It's already unhooked. You just
Go. Need help?
no, not yet.
Woo! You got it. Go.
Thank you.
Oh. Another one bites the dust. Woo!
Up and away! I have the back of my engine room back. Can walk through again without banging my head on stuff sharp. One more thing done.
About what we're doing with the hydraulic heater?
Well, it's going to get moved out of that location because hopefully we've got enough room to fit some generators, all 4 of them, back at the back of the engine room here, ideally, which means the batteries are going to be at the front of the engine room, but I'd like to have that up at the front of the engine room as well, and that's going to get a makeover when it comes out as well.
What about the corner where the wash machine is?
That's kind of my thought at the moment. I'll have to weld up my exhaust and intake holes here, and I might actually put the exhaust up through the stack. No, that's too far. No, I'll go up the side of the boat still. But anyway, yeah. So over here I've got the hydraulic steering pump. I got to figure out how to make this work for us. It's basically going to have to be valved in such a way that it will work to do the autopilot, but it will also provide power to the helm as well. So it'll be like an electric power assisted steering, but the helm will be able to operate without it. So it'll have an emergency failure mode. But anyway, I got to figure out some plumbing on this, figure out some wiring to see how it's going to work the best, but it should do okay. I think it's gonna be a good option. All of my new manifolding, I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with it right now. It may end up staying here. However, for doing transfers and stuff like that, or anything where I have to come into the engine room while we're moving, I would prefer to have it close to the front door, or the only door to the engine room, just for ease of access when we're underway. It's not going to be as big of a deal with the new system, but yeah, it'd be nice to have it right up at the front, where all I have to do is walk in the door and it's right there.
You spent so much time building this.
I did, and I mean, honestly, a lot of it can just be moved up there.
All the hoses have to be lengthened.
The problem is all the hoses will have to be lengthened.
Just leave it right here.
It may end up getting left here. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to depend on how everything else fits. What do you guys think I should do? Should I leave it here on the back wall? I mean, one way or another, it's going to have to come off the back wall, at least temporary, for doing some work back here. But should I keep it back here? Because it's a nice setup. I mean, it can be cleaned up and tidied up and fit with a nice, clean engine room. Or should I move it up to the front of the engine room where it's easily accessible and we're underway? What do you guys think?
Before we end this video, we want to say a genuine thank you. The names you're seeing here are the people who chose to step in and stand behind this project. This hybrid electric build is happening in real time, and it's only possible because of the support from our online crew and the people on the wall of power. Every name here represents someone who believes in us doing this properly and sharing the whole process. No shortcuts and no glossing over the hard parts. If you've been watching and getting value out of these videos, there's a place for you too. Your name could be here in the next video, and you'd be a part of Tangaroa's story going forward. Some supporters even have their names permanently mounted in the engine room on the wall of power. And if supporting financially isn't possible right now, subscribing, watching, and leaving a comment helps more than you might think. You can find all the details on our website. Thanks for being here, and thanks for helping make this build possible.